The Trump administration rescinded guidance that prohibited immigration enforcement in sensitive locations, such as hospitals, schools, early childhood centers, and disaster relief sites. Enforcement action can now happen anywhere. But all children and youth, including immigrant students, still have the right to a free K-12 public education. The Trump administration's policy change doesn't take that away. Karen Rice, Senior Program Manager of Education Initiatives at Schoolhouse Connection, shares vital resources and guidance.
Students have the right to enroll. They have the right to be in school regardless of their immigration status, regardless of their parent or caregiver's immigration status. We can't collect any of that information. We can't ask for that information. McKinney-Vento is still true for all of our students that meet that definition and lack fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. For families who have mixed statuses, students can come to school and they may not know when they go home at the end of the day if a parent or a caregiver is going to be there. A child gets on the bus and that may be the last time they see that parent again. There's a lot of fear in that public school setting. Is someone from ICE or Immigration and Customs Enforcement going to show up at school, going to pull them from classes? What happens to their parent or caregiver who comes at the end of the day to pick them up, but they're not at school anymore? It's really important for these reasons that schools have a plan and know what they're going to do and include the homeless liaison in those conversations. If ICE shows up at our schools and says, hey, we need a list of all of your students, make sure that we're not violating federal FERPA law that protects student data. Make sure that the ways that we're talking about McKinney-Vento helps families and helps youth to understand. No information is being handed over to the federal government with name and identifying information. Immigrant families still have rights. One of the resources that we shared is the Know Your Rights app. And the other is listed as red cards that talk about what rights are. Here's what to do and here's what you can say, but here's what you don't have to say. We need to be sharing those resources with families so that they know what to do in the event that ICE shows up at their school or their home. Families don't have to open the door unless there's a specific kind of warrant that requires that. You don't have to answer all of the questions. You don't have to open the door. You can ask for that paperwork. You can ask to see a copy of the warrant. You can ask for the name of the person. Community partners are absolutely critical during this time. We absolutely do not want to give legal advice at schools. Find those reputable community organizations that you can send families and youth and individuals to so that they can gain access to that information. We need to be talking to families about having a plan. Who is going to be a caregiver for that child? Where is the child going to go after school? Where are the important documents? For families with mixed statuses, where might that child's birth certificate or passport be? Schools need to be sitting down right now and coming up with what's step one. What are we going to do? Who's the point of contact? Is it the building principal? Is it the district administrator? Who does ICE need to go through to have access to this particular student or this particular group of students? How are we going to ask for the information that we can require of them before just opening the doors? How are we going to protect our students? Liaison should have a seat at that table as school districts are planning and preparing. Students who may come to school go home to have a parent or a caregiver that's no longer there. That student may then become an unaccompanied homeless youth. And we need to be aware and mindful of the situations that our students are in so that if that student comes back to school without a parent or a guardian, we can be providing those services. Head over to the captions for more information on all of the resources I've talked about and more.